I just want to talk to you guys about, maybe some of your biggest challenges you're having right now. So we'll kind of start with you. Tell me about a challenge that you think is your biggest challenge right now.
Challenge right now, I'd say just getting in the groove of things since I just started about 2 months ago. So
Okay.
I'd say just getting acquainted with everyone within the dealership and then just starting to build my customer base.
Okay.
So pretty fresh face at the dealership. So I just got to start marketing myself out there and getting to know some people on the lot.
Okay. Nice. Chad?
I think the only real challenge in it is sometimes just the frustration about having this specific stuff that people are asking for, like a
The inventory?
hybrid or a PHEV. Seems like a lot of that stuff is advertised, but we don't have it. Or
Okay.
haven't seen a
So
sniff of it,
inventory issues, you're
that's
having the right inventory? Okay.
A little bit.
Devin?
Yeah, I think I was going to kind of say what Chad is saying, but I think another one of our challenges here right now is just the lack of foot traffic. So it's a lot of us generating the business right now.
Okay. Nice.
Yes, it's been pretty slow.
Okay.
Kind of unseasonably for September, so I'm just trying to get out there as much as possible, get everyone into the building. But
Okay.
Lots of reflex objections coming out quickly with customers, and there's I find that there's a little bit of a struggle for me to get them to commit this month.
Okay. So just kind of overcoming objections and whatnot.
Yeah, a lot of it's just like, it's the same three over and over. I gotta go talk to my wife or
Okay.
stuff like that. But I'm realizing once they leave and I let them, use that, they're not answering for us
Okay.
to follow up.
Okay. 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 So I kind of want to just, make it more of a workshop, make it more of a talk about it. So we'll kind of start with Chad's first and with the inventory. We have had some challenges with inventory, which kind of creates the traffic, we don't, some of the fast moving stock, we don't have as many in stock as maybe we did in the past. So we kind of have to work through that. And the thing about challenges is, and what I like to, just hold on here, it's Jordan. Sorry about that. The thing about challenges, you gotta really make sure you're focused on the things you can control, right? So, we can't control what the manufacturer is giving us right now, right? So it's really important to not get caught up in that, and focus on the things we can control. So, like some of what you guys talked about is what are the things we can control, right? So we can control our mindset. We can control, when I asked Kevin, I said to rate us kind of like if you had to rate you and your team on how hungry you were, what's your number, right? So like if we went around the room right now, is there anybody here that thinks they're a 10 as far as being hungry and grinding and just like urgent and they'll do whatever it takes to hit 20 cars a month, okay? And then sometimes people think they're a high number, but they're not doing the actions that so I'm a 10 out of 10, but yet they're leaving at 501. You know what I mean? That's not. So sometimes it's their ego thinks they're a 10, and that can be the worst thing, is when you think you're a higher number than you really are. So as a team and as a leader and leadership and as a management team, how hungry are we? And what are we doing because of that? So do we have a culture here that means that we're going to get 10 appointments? Do we have a culture here that's going to make sure that every used car is on Facebook? Do we have a culture here that no matter what, we're going to make 10 or 15 calls? Do we have a culture here that when the president of the company comes, we're going to make sure we're early? We're going to run in, with 20 seconds left. What is the culture? What is the work ethic? How hungry are we? Right? So are we getting up early enough in the morning to make sure that we're prepared? And then and some of it's goal setting. So like, how many appointments or how many cars do I need to sell? So if I'm and we can just do the math right now, and I've done this before, maybe on some training, but okay, 20 car guy. How many, what is sort of the mindset of, say, we'll use Brent Missisco's 20 car, he's at a 23 average this every single month for the last year, and I go golfing with him and I know him very well, and we talk a lot about his sort of routine and his sort of things, but And I have a lot of the same routines that I do and did when I was a salesman and now as a manager and now as an owner. But you have a goal for the week. Well, you start having a goal for the month, and then you break it down to a week, and then you break it down to a day. And you really got to make sure that you're hitting those things. And I call them KPIs, right? So they're key performer indicators that are going to help me hit my goal, right? So if I'm going to be a 20-car guy, the first thing, it's not rocket science, the numbers game. How many customers do I need to sell 20? Well, I got to figure out how many working days there is. So 20 cars at 24 working days, what does that mean? So let's divide it. What's 20 divided by 24 working days? Come on, someone give me a number.
0.83.
Pardon me?
0.83.
0.83? Is that what it is? Okay, so if I want to sell 20 cars, I know I need to do 0.83 deals per day, right? Okay, now we know there's not 0.83, so I'd probably round it up to 1, right? So I need to sell 1 car a day. Okay, so now to sell 1 car a day, how many people do I need to talk to? Jordan?
10.
No, that would give you like a really low closing ratio, and I think you're better than that. Okay, Jaron?
5.
5. Okay. I personally think that all of you should be in that 3 to 4 range. Okay? So but we can use 5. Okay. So if we're going to talk to 5 people a day, we know that that's going to help it, or to get 1 deal a day, we need to talk to 5, right? Now, how many appointments do you think that we want to, and when we're not just talking to, that's opportunities. How many do you think we need to get in? I'm going to break that down. Okay, so I'm talking to 5 people, but how many do I need to get in front of and make sure I show a presentation to on something? How many do I have to, how many am I going to walk through my sales process and actually have a product to show them? So then I got to break that down. Okay, I'm going to talk to 5. Then I want to do how many, product presentations? Well, I know I got to do at least probably 3, maybe 2 if I'm really good. If I feel like, if I do 2 presentations, show 2 vehicles, serve numbers on 2 people, I'm going to sell 1 car. Right? So then I break that down and I work that backwards. Then I be, okay, now how do I get those? How do I get that? Because you say we don't have traffic. So some of it's going to come from outside traffic, but how can I generate the rest? So how am I going to generate doing these presentations? How am I going to generate talking to that many opportunities? Well, then I look at, okay, so then we know we have the pillars, right? Right? So then we look at, and what are the pillars? Well, we have our past repeat customers. We have service customers, right? We have our database. We have our own friends and family. Another pillar is referrals. Okay? Then we have, what else do we have? Social media.
Your own Facebook marketplace.
Your own Facebook marketplace. So I have about 7, 8 sort of pillars to get me that 3 customers. So then I put a game plan, I put a goal setting on each one of those pillars. And then I break that down by the month, by the week, by the day. And then I actually track it. And then at the end of the day, and then what happens, guys, is when you get in these habits, it just becomes way easier because you're doing the same things, right? Mine's different now. Mine's more about which people do I got to talk to, what do I have, how do I get certain things out of people to make sure that they're following all the processes and systems we have. But I have a daily thing that I write down every day. I write it down. Jordan's the same. You've probably seen he learned from me, but we have this task pad, and it follows up from the previous day, and anything we didn't get done the previous day, we're now starting from top, and that now became a priority. So if I didn't achieve something that I thought I should the day before, then guess what? I'm making sure that I'm way more focused on it today. And because I never want to get too far behind. I never want to have 5 days where I didn't hit 2 or 3 things, right? Because then my month's done, right? And that's why, and it happens all the time when people go on vacation, right? It almost takes you a week or 10 days to get back into the fold, right? Well, there's a reason, because it's your mindset, it's your daily habits, it's everything. So a lot of times when you take a week holidays, it's actually like 2 weeks, because it takes you a week to get back in the groove and get back having flow. So that's why, our challenges of not having inventory, or maybe not getting enough customers, or maybe not closing enough, is we really got to define what our habits are every day. You know what I mean? And so when I ask Kevin and sometimes is like, do we have that killer mindset where we're actually making sure that we're hitting all our KPIs every day? Do we know what they should be? Like Chad, walk me through your day. So I'm going to pick on you for being late for the meeting. Okay? How many social media posts are you doing a day?
No.
Okay.
No.
So that's
my
pretty much
first
zero then?
That's my first short.
Okay,
Is,
so you're missing a very big pillar. How many referral calls are you making a day?
I try to make at least 1 to 3.
Okay.
Yeah, at least 1, if not 2.
Just calls or referral calls?
No, just refer calls. It's usually a follow-up call. Like usually people that I've sold a car to last week or 2.
Okay.
That follow-up with her, just like,
Yeah. The reason why I asked Chad that is like, so we know we got to make calls, we know we got to make appointments, and back in the old days, we would just, so it was almost like a phone book. You started calling, people that, Bill Smith, right? And just, hey, I'm John Cott from, down at the local car dealership. Where now everything's data, you can have information, so we can pull data from previous customers and whatnot. It makes making calls a lot easier. But when you really, really get scientific about making calls, you don't need to make 20 calls in a day. You need to make 5 to 6 really good calls. And you need to prepare. And you need to make sure that you know the information. So you profile your customers. Okay, what did this customer driving? Do we have enough history on him? When did he trade in his car before this one? You know what I mean? What's his favorite color on the car? Okay, how many kilometers are on it? When was he into service last? What was his repair last in service? Are we taking the time to actually, when we make a call of a previous customer, to actually look at the information? Or do we just look, oh, this guy's driving a 22 Kia Sorento with 40,000 kilometers. I'm going to call him and see if I can offer him a trade-in value. But are we really going through the profile? Are we really getting to make sure we knew who sold him the car last? Did he finance? Did he pay cash? Okay, where does he live? What did he trade in last time? And then when we make the call, we can be way more better at it. And we can actually have something to say, hey, how's it going? I just happened to look and your car's, you're hitting that 60,000, 70,000 kilometers. How's it going? I understand you were in our service department 3 months ago. Did a little bit of maintenance. The reason why I'm calling is we're short of used cars right now. What if I could offer you above trade-in value? What if, it's a free estimate. I'd love to give you some value and maybe work out something because, last time you traded your car in within 3 years. Are we walking through the right call? Or is the culture here is like, oh, we only have 5 appointments. Let's have a huddle. Okay, everybody, we need 2 more appointments before 6. And then we're not really strategizing on those calls. We're not really focusing on what the call should be. So when I'm making calls or when I teach about people to make calls is I break them into, so I want to do some repeat customers, I want to do some data mining calls, and I want to do some referral calls. And then I want to do some follow-up calls of any current leads. So I know I'm going to make maybe 5 to 10 really good calls, but I'm not going to do 10 database calls and just start calling, I'm going to have maybe a section of those. Then I'm going to be okay, I'm going to look through my referral list. All the customers, you've been here a long time, Chad. You should not even have to take opportunities anymore if you're really dialed into a system. Being somewhere 5 or 6 years, okay, and having, a whole bunch of repeat customers. Same with you, Jordan. You guys should have this funnel that is just like this right now if you were doing it every day. So I really challenge you guys to do that. But when I'm calling a referral customer, I think people like you, so it's going to be like, hey, it's Chad, it's from Kia, I haven't talked to you for a while. And you're going to do some that you've sold a car 2-3 years ago, and then you're also doing those ones that you sold last month, right? Because those ones are going to give you a referral, and people miss out on that. They sell a guy a car, they'll call him in 5 days, right? They'll ask him the referral because that's the process. So we're going to ask him, it says that person's going to influence someone within 5 days, and they're going to see that he bought a car somewhere. It's true. Generally, someone who buys a car is our best source for a referral for some right away. But we make that call after 5 days, and then we don't put them in our cycle, and it's so silly because sometimes it takes 3 or 4 calls to that customer before you get the referral. So the guy that just bought the car last week, we know we're going to call him in 5 days. So we have that on our day timer. You know, hey, it's John, how's it going? How you liking the new car? You know, large percentage of my customers made a repeats and referrals. Remember I talked to you when you bought the car? I just want to know, you know, is there someone you know that might be in the market for a car, a family member, a friend, or someone in the workplace? You know, we want to put you on a referral program, blah, blah, blah. And we do that. And they say, no, I can't really think of it. Okay, well, you know what? Some of us will just say, you know what? If you if you think of anything, please think of me. Here's my name again. The right thing is to say, hey, listen, would it be okay if I followed up with you in another 30 to 60 days and make sure that everything's going good with the car? I probably am going to ask you for a referral again too, okay? Okay, and then guess what? 30, 45 days, I call that customer and I say, Kevin, it's John again. How's it going? Checking in on the car. How's everything going? Is there anything I can help you with? Or sometimes those technology things, sometimes, you know, I know my wife, when she gets to drive the demos, she's always asking me, hey, what's this? What's this? And sometimes it's 3 or 4 months later, she's saying like, hey, I still haven't figured that out. Our customers are the same. So these calls that we make sometimes a month or 2 months after with the technology, it's a really good customer service call. It's like, is there anything on that technology that maybe I can walk you through that you might not know? Right? And imagine actually if they did say something, you said, you know what, on my way home, do you mind if I come and show you? And you actually drove home, on your way home, stopped in for 5 minutes and walked him through the stuff on his navigation or some of his technology, what your chances of getting a referral would be. But we don't think about those things. That's what I mean, are you hungry? You put up your hand. We're not doing those things, Mike. We can't say we're hungry. So hungry is when you call all your customers you've sold a car to and are getting, 3 to 4 referrals every week. That's hungry. Don't say you're hungry. Don't say you're a 10 out of 10. That's silliness. We're not even close to that. None of us, including you. So, you know what? So, we're calling that customer. We're asking for a referral. And then guess what? So after we did that, and we called him the second time and said, hey, it's me again, technology, and maybe I went to his house, or maybe I just explained on the phone. And I said, no, what? Hey, you know what? I'm still going to, is it okay if I call you again, JR, 30 to 45 days?
Of course.
Okay, just to check in on the car. And I might ask you for another referral, okay? Because it's a really large percentage of my business, repeats and referrals. And a lot of my customers, enjoy, getting a check here and there on a referral to put towards, a little something for them. And guess what? Then I call him that third time. Now the second time is like, he almost started to feel obligated. This guy keeps calling me, checking in on me. I got to start thinking about this. And then guess what? That third month, he's having coffee with a friend. His friend says to him, I'm thinking of buying a car. And boom, you called him twice. The first time it didn't register. The second time is, I don't want to get a call from Mike again. That third time, he's thinking to himself, you know what, just so you know, I have a guy that's calling me every month. He gives great customer service. He's actually calling me all the time about, technology and how I'm doing. I'd like to give you his name. And you know what? In fact, I'm actually going to text him right now. And is it okay? And then you got them on the payroll. Now they're your referral. I call them, your referral guys, where they're helping you prospect. And we miss out because we only do it once, maybe twice. But if you want to get really good at referrals, it's got to be daily. It's got to be like, you got to have a system. And it's in our CRM. You can actually make notes. You can put it in there. You can save it. You can do all those things. And we got to start leading it, Kevin. We got to start leading these referral calls, right? Because, we're doing the game plans. We have all these systems and we're talking about them. We're checking off on things. But are we really doing them? Are we really hungry? Are we a 9 or 10 out of 10 on, are we doing everything we can to get to 20 or 15 or whatever our goals is? Because I think yours is 14, right? Can you look yourself and me and everyone in the room say, yeah, I'm doing everything I can to sell 14? Or are we just happy? Well, we tried our best, because I've heard that a few times out of the store. Well, we tried our best. Well, we didn't try our best. We accepted less than our best, but our mind says it's our best, and there's a completely different thing. So my challenge to you guys, and it's not about beating you up here, my challenge is you guys all have another level. I think you should be selling 17, 18 Chad after being a 5-car guy. You got to stop accepting 12 and 10 and start doing all the little things, man, because your customers love you. And yeah, you know what? You got to work a little harder. Jordan, you should be a 16 to 18 car guy. At Caught Auto Group, you have, one of the highest tenures. Did you know that?
I didn't.
When I look at the tenures, you two would be in the top 10 in our company. But you're not the top 10 in sales. So why is that? I'm challenging you here. I'm not trying to cut you down or beat you down. I'm trying to say I don't think you're doing a lot of the best practices. Because if you have that type of tenure and you're not hitting that, then you're not following a lot of the best practices we have, which is making calls on the referrals, which is doing social media posts, which is getting cars on Facebook. Are we setting a film every single day? And you know what? We can have the referral films too. But does every opportunity get a nice video from us? Is it a task because we don't want to see Kevin's report? And so we just kind of go through the motions? Or is it all about customer experience, and is it all about making sure that we're doing it for the right reasons? The right reasons are we want to give great customer service, and we want to be better at our jobs and get more deals. Okay? And the customers know that. It's okay. Customers want to deal with successful people. When I was a salesman, they go, geez, John, you're on me all the time. I like it, but wow, where do you get that energy from? You're always calling me. You're always asking for the business. That's okay. They respected me. I just made sure that I asked enough, and I was on it, right? I wasn't afraid to call a customer all the time. They knew why I was there. I was hungry. I wanted the business. So I want, put it on your desktop. Are you hungry? And start looking at it every day. And then go through these KPIs, Devin. You were in professional sports, like you did golf at a high level, right? Well, did you have to practice lots? Okay. So how do you rate yourself now on this field? Do you think you're hitting all the KPIs as high as you should?
No, I think there's room for improvement.
Yeah. If you want to be the best, you got to sometimes do more than the other person, right? And there's nobody here that's selling 20 cars month to month out, right? So I would look at the guys that are selling 20 and saying, well, what are they doing? Because I can tell you right now, and I'll tell Brent to his face, he's not the best salesman in my company. He's not when it comes to pure salesmanship. He's the hardest working, and he has the best system. That's the difference. Okay? When he makes a goal at 20 or 23 now, it used to be 20. When we hired him, he only was selling 12. Like when I bought the dealership, he was at 12, 13, 14. But he's been very coachable on some of these things, and then he just executes and masters them, right? So, but when we look at our goals and then we break out these KPIs, are we actually doing them at a really high level? So, how many videos do I got to send a day? How many referral calls do I got to do a day? How many database mining calls should I do a day? Or database emails or whatever it is, or texts. And then I break it out. And so when I have a daily game plan, it's a real game plan. It's not a game plan I'm going to send, Mike and Kevin, can you sign off on this? It's my game plan, and it's for me to be successful, and it's for me to hit my next targets and overachieve. It's not for the bosses to sign off on. And I think that's where the mindset sometimes needs to change. We're going through these administrative routines to kind of like all fool ourselves. But we're not coming with the proper mindset. Hey, you know what? I'm going to kill it today. I'm going to get myself 3 to 4 appointments because I've had a bad week, and this is how I'm going to do it. So here's my 8 or 9 referral customers. I'm going to go through their history. I'm really going to spend a lot of time making sure I make really good calls. So I'm going to go to some of my best customers, some from last month, and then I'm going to pick some from last year and whatever. And then I'm going to go through some database mining, and then I'm going to go through some of my hot leads. I'm going to write them on a sheet or whatever in the system, or use my computer in the CRM. I'm going to be like, okay, There's no way after, if I execute this day, that I wouldn't be successful if I do all these things. And I'm going to be pumped about doing them too. I'm not going to need Mike Ister to kind of grind me. Hey, how you making out? How many calls have you made? No, because like I wouldn't need him to do this. And that, you know, and then, you know, and a lot of times, guys, on hitting goal setting and achieving goals and having the right mindset is what are we doing on our downtime? That's the difference of a lot of things. Is we all have downtime. So we have these deliveries, we made our calls, and then like at 4 o'clock or 5 o'clock, that last hour of the day or the last 2 hours of the day, what are we doing at that times? Are we winding down, and is our mindset already focused on, I got to get home and what am I going to do and my kids and my family or whatever? You're going to be here anyway. You're not leaving early. No one's going to let you leave early. But our minds are already left early. We've already checked out. And that's when a lot of the times we can really, really, really be more successful, is because that downtime at the end of the day, instead of really, really grinding and really going to the next level, we've already checked out, we're already focused, we're already cleaning our desks up, and we're just kind of like, you know, maybe pretending we're busy or, you know, like doing the things. And I watch people all the time. I'm really into profiling people, and I'll see what they do the last hour sometimes. And it's funny almost. It's because they're so checked out. It's laughable, right? And it's all up here. And even some managers are checked out the last hour too. Happens all the time. Wives are texting them this and that. Hey, are we still on for later? You know, so it's a challenge. It's really a challenge. Okay, if we're going to be here anyway, why don't we make sure that we're just really, really giving it that last sort of Mamba mentality, the Kobe mindset, where it's like, I'm going to give it one more push and just, okay, I don't have enough set up for tomorrow. I'm not hitting my targets this week. So what am I going to do this last hour? Okay, well, I'm going to go do 3 more. I'm going to do 2 social media posts. I'm going to go hit some car films. And then the last 15 minutes of the day, I'm going to make 10 really good calls or 5 really good calls. Really, really do it. Right? Mike, do you agree?
100%.
Okay. What do I got here? I think that's it. Just kind of go around the room and kind of give me your feedback on kind of what I've shared, guys. Like, you know, Jaron, what do you think? What do you think you can really take from this meeting and really step up and do more?
I wrote down because it hit me hard. We accepted less, and then our mindset. We accepted less than our best, and we created a mindset, and then we just accepted it. We didn't.
Yeah, we tried our best, but we knew it wasn't our best.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. We gotta.
And you know what? And I'm glad you shared it, because that's a real, because if all of a sudden we just lower our standards, it can really kill us for like on anything. You know what I mean? Yeah. And you gotta, and it just, if you find yourself getting in that, you gotta reset, right? We tried our best, but we knew we really didn't, right? And so I'm glad you brought that up, because that's a big thing when it comes to mindset and just hitting goals and achieving goals and being successful. Like, if you lower your standard and you get in the habit of it, it's hard to hit the real big things, right? So keep going. Sure.
Yeah. Yeah, that one hit me hard. Obviously, hitting the pillars is massive. Definitely not like doing any referral calls. So I gotta put some sort of game plan in place and focus on that. Especially, like, I've been doing it long enough. I should know that that's how I generate extra business. And to touch on that as well, hard work and a good system will beat talent all the time. So, like, I can sit around here and tell all these guys all these old stories about how we used to sell this, and this. But if you have somebody who understands the system, puts it in place, and executes it, it's going to beat any guy who just walks up and be like, all right, well, I'm just going to be a lot lizard and look for ups and You know, so it's not about coming in Saturday and being like, oh, I hope a good walk in. It's like, okay, how am I going to generate my Saturday? And if I have that downtime, am I just sitting there feeling sorry for myself, or am I going to, you know, show my team and show my managers that I can push through these tough times and not just accept it? Because this month feels a lot like a November, December, but then again, last year in November I did 23. So it's really just a mentality of, okay, well, it's slow, we'll get them next time.
Yeah.
And then,
And what can happen sometimes, and trust me, all these things I'm sharing from my own experience because I've done it and I've been in your shoes, where like you have a week left of the month and you know like chances are you're not going to hit your target or whatever, and it's almost like I just can't wait till this month's over. So we've already reset ourselves to like we're going to work harder next month. So like let's just get through this month. So then we coast that last 5 or 6 days, where it's like we just want to get through the month, and like that's the opposite of what we should do. We should be like, okay, you know what? I'm going to grind as hard as I can this last 5 or 6 days, so that I'm in the right habits for next month. I know I can't change what happened already the last 20 days, but this last 10 days, I'm going to absolutely destroy, and that's going to get me lined up for next month. And that's a huge mindset, because a lot of us will just say, I'm having a bad month, let's just get through it, and then next month I'll reset, right? But you don't have to wait till next month to reset. You can reset right after this meeting, right? So Jordan, what did you get out of it? Thanks for taking all those notes, man.
Yeah.
Because you can read after them, and it's really important sometimes, visual, audio, kinesthetic, to take notes and then you read them after. So
I think when you were talking about sometimes when I was going through the administrative, busy work, I'll get my game plan signed off, like, no, that's your goals for today. That's how you're going to sell your next car, right? So, I mean, it's important to take that in and really think, okay, visualize it. This is how I'm going to accomplish this. This is what I need to do to be successful today.
Okay. I really, really want to challenge you, because I think you should be selling more, because your customers love you and you've been here the longest. Okay?
Absolutely.
Okay. Devin?
I think what I'm taking from it is making sure to structure my own personal daily game plan.
Yeah.
Kind of apart from my work game plan that the managers sign off on, but having my own thing that keeps me accountable to, do the process and make my calls and make sure that I'm on point.
Okay. And for you, like you were in sports, it's just habits, man, right? It's just doing the same habits every single day is going to get you more successful, right? Yeah. Chad?
Just really refocusing on like your mental refocus on all the opportunities that we have, or the tools that we have to drum up business with all those pillars, restructure that in my mind and actually implement that on my game plan and tighten that up. And I think you had a lot of really good points of making smart calls, right calls, and doing that research and making your time worth, your calls really worth money when you talk.
Yeah, quit accepting less, buddy. Like, quit accepting less. I want you to hit 20 cars a month. I think you should be a regular 20. And I think you're just accepting 12 or 13, man. And so, like, I really challenge you, man. I think you're way better than what you've been doing. Okay? All right? So, but you gotta believe that. Because I believe it. You gotta believe it. All right? What'd you take down there for notes?
I would say, just getting better habits, like you said, breaking down your goals, not just like having goals, but breaking them down to monthly, weekly, daily, like setting that 1 car a day or 0.83, and just like attacking all the different pillars, like you stated, repeat, service, referrals, socials, your circle of influence, super huge. So yeah, I just got to make my own game plan and not just go off the survey.
Yeah. Okay, good.
And plan for the managers.
Okay, I like it. Mike?
So every JK meeting that I have, and I've had a few over the years, I always take a nugget back with me, and I work on that nugget. So it got me promoted before, and it kind of got me moving in the company with you. One of the biggest things that I always take from these meetings is setting up routines. Routines are very important. I would say that my wife is even more on me on setting routines than my job is, but I've had success setting up routines and following through with them. Yes, they fall off sometimes, and yes, we need resets. I find that a good reset can get you going and set a routine well, and you actually will not drop it later because you had that reset and you had the ability to relook at things. So I like the resets because it gives you the ability to look at it one more time. Sometimes over a 5-year relationship, I've relooked at a lot of things over time, and it got me better in those details. And I think all of those things is personally what got me to management. It's what got me here. So I have to take that, do better at it myself as well, and then channel it to everybody else.
And yeah,
Routine.
my challenge to you as a manager is I think your biggest one is on the downtime. I think we got to execute better that last half hour to an hour of the day. I don't, and you worked at Kelowna Hyundai, which is one of our top stores. So, you got to make comparisons on, what are they doing that's so much, are there some things that, what's the difference in the mindset? What's the difference in the culture, right? So I'd really challenge you on that because I think downtime here is a big opportunity. I don't think we're being as hungry and as being as that killer mindset on the downtime. I think we're all kind of just accepting, nothing's going to happen at certain times of the day instead of like, okay, what can I do right now? Right? Okay?
To make it happen.
JR?
Actually, my point is exactly what you guys were just talking about is downtime. It's finding that last spark in the last hour of the day. Like, okay, I'm going to build 10 more payments. I'm going to make some calls. It's the end of the day for me, right? That I got to push myself a little bit more. But everything is just back down to the culture and the mindset. That's all it really comes down to, right?
I'm going to compliment you on manufacturing some deals. I know you've been doing that, so nice work. Jovan?
Just game planning, being ready for the day. I think that it's really important. I'm a big game planner for the day, game planner for every opportunity that sits in front of me. Just being prepared, I think, is really, really important. Mindset too, as well. Just in regards to everybody's talking about it, downtime, right? Just game planning what your downtime is going to be and how you're going to utilize that little bit of time that we're not essentially doing anything, right? And just figuring out to put something in there to do and contact these customers and just moving forward and trying to get better every month.
Okay, like it. Okay, Kevin, the leader.
Stop accepting the phrase "we did our best."
Yeah.
Doing our best doesn't pay the bills.
Well, doing our best doesn't pay the bills unless we get the result.
Hence accountability.
If our results are not where they should be, then we can't say we've done our best unless all the pillars are a 10 out of 10, and right, which we know they're not, right? So,
Finding a new level of accountability,
okay.
holding more accountable to their goals.
Okay, good. Well, you know what, guys? Like, Kevin and I talked early, and we don't have a lot of turnover at this store. We have a really great team. We have a really great nucleus, and that can be really good. But it can also, if the whole team is, it's like hockey teams sometimes. Like if you start accepting, that's why new coaches come in and they throw out the plan, and because sometimes if we start getting too familiar and accept, a lower standard, that can hurt when the team's been together all the time. That's why we kind of changed people around. That's why we changed Mike around. We wanted to jump. We wanted to try something new. So I'd really challenge you guys to raise the bar, start reaching more, right? And I really feel that we're not reaching enough. Don't accept what we've done and start reaching what if we're averaging 12. Say, what is it going to take for me to get to 15? If I'm doing 15, what's it going to take for me to do to 20? If I'm doing 70 deals, how do I get to 100? I want to beat Kelowna Hyundai. That should really be your goal is, I want to do more volume than Kelowna Hyundai. Do you think they're better than you?
No.
Okay, so then why aren't we hitting them? And so as a team, we've got to be like, hey guys, Kelowna Hyundai's name is up here. We think we're better. Let's put a team goal together. Let's put a team challenge together. Let's beat them once. Let's do it. Because then it's going to feel really good, and then you're going to look like, how. Remember that month we beat Kelowna Hyundai? What were all the things we did? And I actually believe you could. I think we actually have a better used car inventory here. We have more, just as many used as they do. So we should be able to sell 55, 60 used cars. We're starting to get more new cars. The database has been here longer. you know. So there's no reason why we can't sell 100 cars here. So, you know, stop accepting 70. You know what I mean? What's it going to take to get to 100? And it starts with mindset and just that culture. Like, we are hungry. We want that extra 2 deals a day. We want those extra appointments. Okay? Awesome. Let's have a great finish, guys.